in general is about a girl who moves to New York City and ends up becoming a nanny on the Upper East Side for this high-profile couple. And they have these 4 kids, 3 of whom are adopted. So not only is she kind of discovering herself in 18 and now unleashed upon the world and an adult and figuring herself out, she's accountable for these 4 kids with 4 different personalities and 4 different cultures and a 10-foot lizard or a 7-foot lizard, 7 feet, feels like 10 feet in the nightmares I have at night. It's 7-foot lizard and imaginary friends, and one of them is always like running off, one of them's pulling pranks, and then they're fighting. It's a bit chaotic, but it's cool. It's a very family-oriented, but very 2011 family. It's kind of about the blended family, and how you don't necessarily have to have someone's blood in your veins to make it family. And my character, Jessie, she's 18, so she has graduated high school, and she's free upon the world, so she's finding herself. And in New York City, I feel like it's easy to not necessarily get lost, but be very absorbed in it. And she really remains true to who she is, which is kind of she lives in a military, she grew up on a military base, so she has a bit of like special ops toughness in her, but she is so like strong and kind of resourceful and smart that she doesn't necessarily need to flaunt it. She can kind of deal with things as they come up, but things get a little chaotic first. She's not used to taking care of these 4 kids and all of their madness, so no one ever burns the house down, but definitely things get a bit crazy before she can kind of wrangle everything back into shape. Right, yeah, no, it's definitely not a coincidence. I feel like any kind of similarities between my humor and Jessie's, my style and Jessie's, nothing's really kind of a coincidence that way. I've known some of the writers and the producers for a very long time, and they know me, they get my humor, and we talk, we go to dinner, and they crack up at some things, and then I find them in the script the next week, and I'm awesome. And it's cool, it's a very collaborative process, kind of from the beginning. They really, really valued my input, and I'm honored to be kind of a part of this new generation of thing that they're doing here. As far as even having an 18-year-old star in a show on Disney Channel, I feel like that's kind of rare, and it's kind of new, and but yeah, I definitely grew up kind of around military base and in that realm, and it breeds a very unique kind of person. I feel like it breeds kind of that kind of strength, and Jessie has that. I have that a bit too. I'm becoming a bit more like her, but I was gonna say that Jessie she's okay with making a joke and then pointing it at me it's funny, right? Laughing at her own joke. And for me, it's if I say a joke, I say it, just kind of whisper it, or but lately I've been a lot like Jessie. I'll say something, be like, you see what I did there? And Cameron, who's one of the kids on the show, was always like, you can't laugh at your own joke, Debbie. It just doesn't. He gives me he's such a little brother that way. He gives me a lot of heck for that. But yeah, we're very similar that way. But I feel like we're very different in. I don't know. She wears jeans, or she wears dresses and heels, and she's juggling children, and she's looking flawless and Upper East Side, and I'm in jeans and flat boots, and my hair's up in a bun, and I'm in lipstick and sunglasses on my rough days. If I was taking care of 4 kids, heels out the window. She's a lot more I don't know, hip than I am, I should say. They've been doing this for a while, it's and I feel anytime you look at a kid and you're aw, so good to see you, welcome to Hollywood. You're gonna get anywhere. They know a lot, and they're quick. And what was interesting is in the casting process, I was very interested in kind of how real they are. They're 4 real kids. They have friends and they have hobbies and they go hiking and they have their dance crews and they go to school and they have their own different vibes, and but they also have really funny instincts as comedians. And so for me, it's really not about this is an A-line A-side B-side joke, but I'm watch Friends, because your character has a lot of similarities with this character, and if you kind of study the way that he gives these deliveries, it's funny. It's just kind of more than instructing them from the beginning. It's honing what they already have and what I see in them. And I feel it's easy for people to overlook that in kids, especially in Hollywood, because it's kind of let's get this shot, let's get this done. And with Disney, they're we want them to be real. We want to see what they've got, and we want to see their personalities. And Cameron, his character on the show, dances because he dances as a person, and everyone's really loosely, incorporated into their character. It's cool. I started singing little lullabies to the kids, or we'll walk around the set playing and singing. Of course, the writers and producers were that's cool, we should do that. They saw me strumming a guitar and playing this little piano, and they were into it. So yes, you may or may not catch Jessie strumming a little guitar, singing a bit. I feel anytime you're in New York or someplace where the arts are very creatively festered, I don't know if it's a career path She's still finding herself. But I will say that the things that she experiments at, Jessie and I have this in common. We want to be amazing at the things that we do. And we're not going to show people, look how hard I'm working, look at this. We're just kind of going to study in our own little realm and show up and be cool at things. And I think that that's what it is. So if she picks up a guitar, she's going to play with it. But she's also a little bit fearless. So if she kind of follows her dreams of singing, it wouldn't shock me. But we really wanted this to not be a music show. Like, everything's musical, everyone's a pop star. Let's just have our story, and if she happens to enjoy the arts as well, that's cool.